What is up, my fellow astronauts? Breakfast is the most important meal of the day because that's how you kickstart your day. And what better way to kickstart the day than to maximize your dopamine? Now, obviously, there's things that you can do like sunlight and walking that can help to optimize your dopamine. But why not start your day strong with a meal that's really going to supercharge your day by maximizing dopamine? So let me show you. The meal consists of beef, kiwi, and orange juice. So let me show you exactly why those ingredients are so important. So the first one is beef, and you create a dopamine from the amino acid the tyrosine. So you have tyrosine and tryptophan, and there's a ratio between the two. Tyrosine converts all the way into dopamine, tryptophan converts all the way into serotonin. Serotonin in excess makes you more anhedonic, more fatigued, not as motivated and driven, more content. Dopamine is something that helps to give you energy, motivation, and drive, sexual function, and libido. You want a high dopamine to serotonin ratio, so you want a high tyrosine to tryptophan ratio. And beef is one of those foods with the best tyrosine to tryptophan ratio, which will allow to really increase your dopamine the most. You can also supplement tyrosine, but as I mentioned, it's not just about how much tyrosine you're consuming, but also the ratio between tyrosine and tryptophan. So beef is number one. You can start with half a pound, a full pound for breakfast, however much you need. This is also really good because it's like a solid meal and you get lots of salt, and the salt also helps to make you feel really good. It helps to increase your temperature, provide lots of beneficial nutrients like zinc, but I'll get to that in a moment. The second food is orange, and oranges contain naringenin, and naringenin is a highly selective monoamine oxidase B inhibitor. You have monoamine oxidase A, monoamine oxidase B. A inhibits the breakdown of norepinephrine and serotonin. Serotonin, as I mentioned, in excess can make you more fatigued and anhedonic and tired and not motivated. Norepinephrine is the opposite, where it can help with motivation and drive, even libido and sexual function. But too much can have a negative effect on you and make you more aggressive, like overstimulated, which is something that triglycerides can do when you take too much. Versus monoamine B is very selective to dopamine, breaking down dopamine. So if you selectively inhibit monoamine oxidase B, you have more dopamine. And this further improves the ratio of dopamine to serotonin and norepinephrine, which is more of a calmer boost in energy, motivation, and libido, and so on. As I mentioned, naringenin, it has a bunch of other benefits as well. It can help to increase steroidogenesis, inhibit aromatase, lower inflammation, improve gut health, etc., etc. But in this case, it inhibits monoamine oxidase B, leading to more dopamine. Then we talk about kiwi. Kiwi contains the compound quinic acid, which is also a monoamine oxidase B inhibitor. And what I do like about kiwi is that it contains digestive enzymes. When you combine kiwi with meat, it will help to properly digest the protein. If you maybe feel a little bit too full from consuming a lot of protein, kiwi will help against that. So you digest it fast, feel light and energized. And then you provide all of this quinic acid, which then also furthermore inhibits monoamine oxidase B, leading to even more dopamine. Kiwi has been shown to lead to higher baseline mood, and this is in humans. They only ate 2 kiwis a day. They found a 38% decrease in total mood disturbances, 38% decrease in fatigue, a 31% increase in vigor, and a 34% decrease towards a trend in depression. So these guys were feeling better, they had a more stable baseline, and this has been proven in humans just by eating 2 kiwi a day. And also kiwi and orange juice is very rich in vitamin C, and vitamin C has been shown to increase oxytocin and also increase BH4. So I've talked a lot about BH4. Here you can see in this graph, this is BH4. BH4 is extremely important as a cofactor for the production of dopamine. So it acts as a cofactor for the conversion of phenylalanine into tyrosine, and then also for tyrosine into L-dopa. And then you need vitamin B6 to convert the L-dopa into dopamine. But this tyrosine hydroxylase, this enzyme here that converts tyrosine into L-dopa, is the rate-limited enzyme. So when they treat, for example, people with Parkinson's disease, which has low dopamine, they just give them L-dopa to bypass this rate-limited step. So if you, for example, supplement vitamin C or eat foods rich in vitamin C, you have more BH4, versus if you have inflammation, low-grade inflammation, gut issues, nutritional deficiencies, whatever, these reactive oxygen species will deplete your BH4. The more healthy you are, the less reactive oxygen species that's damaging you, for example, the more BH4 you will have and the more dopamine you can create. These two foods, kiwi and orange juice, and oranges are very good source of vitamin C that will help to increase BH4. And then lastly, also BH4 is a cofactor for the production of nitric oxide, which then helps with blood flow, erections, getting a good bump in the gym, and so on. Then vitamin C is also a cofactor for dopamine beta hydroxylase, which is the conversion of dopamine into norepinephrine, right? So if you inhibit the breakdown of dopamine, you're also going to have more norepinephrine, and they do synergize together. You don't need to inhibit monoamine oxidase A for more norepinephrine. You can simply inhibit monoamine oxidase B, have more dopamine, and just convert that into norepinephrine, because norepinephrine also has strong antidepressant benefits. So you can see ascorbate is a cofactor necessary for converting dopamine into norepinephrine, and so is copper as well. Let's switch over to the micronutrients, because micronutrients eventually are the most important thing for just the whole body in general, producing energy, creating neurotransmitters, being healthy. So here I added the foods together. I had 2 kiwi, I had a pint of orange juice, which is 500 milliliters, and then I had, just for simplicity's sakes, just half a pound of meat. So I think most people can have half a pound of meat without feeling excessively full. And then you have like a pint of orange juice, and you have 2 kiwi, and I think that should be like a very doable meal for most people. So you can see vitamin B1 is in a really good spot, vitamin B3, vitamin B5, vitamin B6, 12, choline, folate is really important here, vitamin C, you get iron, this is important, magnesium, phosphorus, potassium, selenium, and zinc. So you can see there's actually a lot of micronutrients that you're getting from just a simple meal like this. Let me explain why these specific micronutrients are so important. First off, let's start with vitamin B1. Vitamin B1 is extremely important for pyruvate dehydrogenase. So when you're eating glucose, for example, you have a process called glycolysis that's converting glucose all the way into pyruvate. And then your body transports that pyruvate into the mitochondria of the cell, and then it needs to be converted into acetyl coenzyme A so it can be used in the Krebs cycle. Now you use the enzyme pyruvate dehydrogenase to convert pyruvate into acetyl coenzyme A. And then you also complex utilizes, for example, vitamin B1. Now I think one of the main reasons why this process actually helps is because you enhance the oxidation of glucose. So you're creating more energy in the process, but ultimately you're creating this NADH. When you're supplementing vitamin B3, niacinamide, niacin, or something like that, you're increasing your NAD levels. And when NAD is being used, it converts into NADH. And then NADH donates its electrons to the electron transport chain to produce energy. So the reason why this NADH is so important is I'll show you in a second. This is vitamin B3. This NADH is used in the recycling of BH4. If you have ample levels of NAD, you will be creating ample levels of NADH, which will then be helpful for recycling BH4, and then you can use BH4 to convert phenylalanine into tyrosine or tyrosine into L-DOPA. So this is really important. It helps to recycle BH4, right? Which is crucial. And then also meat is a really good source of B3. Vitamin B1 helps with the production of NADH. Vitamin B3 helps as a precursor for creating NAD, which then can be converted into NADH. Then we have a vitamin B6, folate, iron, and magnesium. So this is the whole process where you have phenylalanine, tyrosine, L-DOPA, dopamine, and norepinephrine. So here are all the cofactors. You have NAD or NADH for the recycling of BH4. You have folate, which is also extremely important for the recycling of BH4. And then you have iron as a cofactor. So as I mentioned, the meal contains abundance of all of these. Then we have tyrosine conversion into L-DOPA. Cofactors, again, NAD and NADH, iron, folate, BH4, and vitamin D. And then we have L-DOPA converted into tyrosine. We have cofactors vitamin B6 and iron. Again, the meal contains ample amount of those. Cofactors, vitamin C and copper. And the meal contains ample amounts of these. The point here is that if you consume ground beef or just red meat, for example, with orange juice and kiwi, you will be getting all of the micronutrients and the cofactors necessary to convert phenylalanine all the way into dopamine, norepinephrine, and even epinephrine. Let's finish with zinc. So zinc has been shown to increase dopamine receptors, increase extracellular dopamine, inhibit dopamine uptake by neurons, and just increase overall dopamine levels in the body. By eating this meal, you're minimizing any plant toxins, so it's not inflammatory unless you have a sensitivity to one of these foods, of course. You're getting ample amounts of micronutrients for the production of dopamine all the way from phenylalanine. You're providing all the precursors from the protein. And then you're also consuming compounds that inhibit the breakdown of dopamine. So you have the precursor, you have the cofactors for the synthesis, and then you have compounds that inhibit the breakdown. So you have compounds for every single step to maximize your dopamine. So if you want to start your day strong and start to feel really good, maybe have some red meat, orange or orange juice, and 2 kiwi, and see how you feel. Now, of course, it doesn't have to be for breakfast, but if you want to start your day strong, maybe that's a really good meal to start your day with. And if you would like to maximize your testosterone with the diet, lifestyle, and supplements, always check out the Testo Beast program. Link is in the description below. It teaches you everything how to maximize your testosterone. All right, guys, I hope you learned something new. If you do decide to try this meal, please let me know in the comments below how much you like it. And I will check you in the next one. Cheers, guys.